Have you ever felt like you can't stay on plan? I mean, like you'll get a fresh new resolve and you'll feel like, okay, I'm in the zone. I'm going to be able to do this. It's going to stick this time. I am just not going to give in to XYZ. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to be fully on plan. I'm all in. Have you ever felt that way and then had it fizzle out or even fizzle out almost immediately? Like you are thinking you've got this, and then all of a sudden you don't. And you're eating something that you maybe don't even really consciously remember putting in your mouth. You are just reaching for off plan foods. You're feeling like, oh, I just can't do this. I can't stay on plan. And then sometimes I think we start to feel like the plan doesn't work when we're not really following the plan. We get discouraged. We start to think, okay, well, this isn't working. So why am I doing it? If you feel like you can't stay on plan, I want you to know that's not a unique experience to you. And I'm not saying you're not unique and special and wonderful because you absolutely are. What I'm saying is, I've been there. I know a lot of the people I work with are coming to me as a certified THM coach saying the same thing. I can't stay on plan. I don't know how to make myself stay on plan. Sometimes I hear, what's wrong with me that I can't do this? And that I can identify with so much because I've been in that place where I've thought, what's wrong with me? Shouldn't I be able to do this? Shouldn't I be like the people I see on the Facebook groups who have the before and afters where they've lost like 50 pounds in a very short amount of time? And here I am on month 7 or 8. This is where I was. I've been on plan for almost 10 years now, but here I am not able to do it. I just can't do that. That's never going to be me. I used to feel that way all the time. And I think that as I worked through that and I figured out what I needed to get past that, some of it was the I'm that girl mindset that you can read about in Serena and Pearl's new book. I first heard the concept of that in the book Atomic Habits, where they talk about how you are more likely to reach your goal or to be successful in creating new habits if you don't just align yourself with your goal. If you identify as your goal, like, I'm not going to eat this because I'm going to lose 10 pounds, so I can't have this. If you do that, you're not as likely to be successful as if you look at the food and you say, I'm a trim healthy mama. I don't eat that thing. I don't do that. Or I'm a trim healthy mama. I eat this instead. I'm a trim healthy mama. I take care of myself. I'm a trim healthy mama. I fill half of my plate with veggies. If you're dealing with stubborn weight, give that a try. If you are identifying yourself with who you are, or who you want to be, it helps you to solidify those habits so much easier. So that was one thing that when I felt like I really couldn't stay on plan, reading the book Atomic Habits, I started reframing. I can do this. This is who I am. I am someone who eats healthy and makes those good choices. And after almost 10 years on plan and being a coach for 4 years and running these boot camps for 4 years, a lot of the hard mental work, I think, is not assigning too much emotion to our decisions. And that can go either way. So I see it in the sense that someone says, I don't feel motivated, so I can't do it. Well, my personal opinion is that motivation doesn't matter because motivation comes and goes. Motivation is so transient, you can't pin anything on it, and it's emotional, right? I don't often feel motivated to do things I don't really want to do. And when you're coming off of sugar addiction and you're coming off of, wanting to eat certain things or turning to food for comfort, which is also a habit, when you're coming off of those things, you are not likely to feel very motivated to eat well and to make good decisions for yourself. But what can carry you when you're not motivated is systems and habits and strategies and hacks and tips that make THM quicker and easier and smoother. As we're going into this back to school season, I'm adding a bunch to boot camp, the 6-week boot camp. And I'm also hosting a class on Monday, a THM refresh class that's just a one-time class to help you kind of reset your mind. You can go to thewellplannedkitchen.com/back on plan if you feel like you're struggling at all with staying on plan. We'll be going over that in Monday's class a lot. But as I developed boot camp and as I'm adding to it, a lot of what it is the focusing on how to streamline THM to make it your easiest food option and to eliminate excuses and put obstacles in your path to going off plan. If your life so far has been set up in a sense that it's so easy to go off plan, it feels easy, it's just convenient, then changing that is a key to your success in staying on plan for good. Unfortunately, the plan doesn't work if we don't use it. Maybe not unfortunately. If we could all snap our fingers and get to where we want to go, we'd be there, right? It's just something that once you rethink it a little bit, it can become so much easier to stay on plan. I would say I spend far less money on THM than I did eating any other way. And I've tried lots of diets. I would say that Trim Healthy Mama is the most delicious food to me. And it's not just my taste buds changing. I have come up with and found so many amazing recipes that I am not as tempted to go off plan. I am always surrounded by on-plan food, even those quick and easy prep foods. And I have all those lists in for my boot campers, but all of those things that come together so fast, those are the things that make it easier to stay on plan. So if you're feeling like I can't stay on plan, I can't do this. Yes, you can. 100% you can. You are the only person who decides what food goes in your mouth. That's just you. You can stay on plan. You can stay on plan on a budget. You can stay on plan if you have very, very, very little time or energy. I'm a single mom. I have 5 kids. I work more than full time. I know it's not always easy. And that's actually what I developed boot camp for, was for other busy people who are looking at THM like, I don't have time to do this. Yes, you do. You absolutely do. But it can definitely feel time consuming in the beginning until you figure out how to systemize it and make it so much easier. So for me now at this point, THM is far easier than eating off plan. Far, far, far easier. It's faster. It's more delicious. It's cheaper. That's how I THM. And that's how I like to help other people THM too. Because if you're making it hard, you're not as likely to do it. And if you're relying on feeling motivated, or if you're assigning so much emotion to an off plan choice that it's setting you back, that's something to watch out for too. If you are kicking your own rear end every single time that you eat off plan, but then you don't stop it, oh, let me do that for you instead as your coach. No, I'm just kidding. I don't do a lot of verbal rear end kicking, but I will ask you questions. Why did you eat that? What was your thought process? What could we do differently to make it easier to stay on plan next time? When I'm checking food journals, that's one of the biggest things that comes up often, is that we need to make sure that we're not making those off-plan choices because they were the most convenient. We can fix that if that's what's happening. If you really get depressed, when I'm not saying anything for people who struggle with depression at all, this is not intended for that. But if you feel like an overwhelming shame or depression come over you over what you eat, that's not going to help you either. We don't want to have shame. We don't want to clothe ourselves in shame over our food choices. We just want to set ourselves up for success. And I think setting yourself up for success is one of the top keys to staying on plan long term. It shouldn't feel like tons of work all the time. You should be able to put some systems in place and spend maybe a month or two, maybe sometimes it takes a little bit longer, getting adjusted to this is my system for eating. These are the steps that I follow to set myself up for success. And then it's like a no-brainer. It's kind of like with the learning curve of staying on plan to begin with. When you're first learning SE and FP, you have to think about it all the time. A lot of your brain energy is going to, how do I put this meal together? I don't understand. And we cover that in boot camp too. But if you are like not sure how to put your meals together, yes, that takes more mental energy, but that doesn't last long. Because once you're a THM and you know how to do that, even if you try to go off plan, a lot of times you'll be looking, oh, that's an S. Oh, that's an E. Oh, there's an FP. Your brain just does it. That's kind of how systemizing your journey can work too, and streamlining it to make it easier. You have the systems in place, and at first you're thinking about it more, along with some of the other big habits we work on in boot camp. You are more aware of it, and then it becomes second nature. And then you really understand, here's how I can just set it and forget it. And that's the goal. I think with THM, it should be enjoyable. And that is my final point. If you feel like you can't stay on plan, are you eating enough good stuff? And is it enjoyable? If you are not filling up on good stuff, was a section in the original THM plan book that said, it was something like, this is a can do plan, not a can't do plan. And I remember that sticking out to me because I was thinking, if I focus on all the good things I can have instead of the not so good things, I feel far less deprived. If I eat with the timing that THM recommends, I feel less deprived. If I'm filling my plate with good things, I'm too full to eat things that aren't so good for me, and I'm far less tempted. That's one reason I recommend, if you're going to a friend's house or a party and you're not taking any food with you, my top thing is, if you can ever take food with you to an event, take a salad with protein and an on-plan dessert, and that way you're covered for an S. It just a quick tip there. I always like to do that. But if I'm going somewhere that I can't take something, I'll eat a full meal before I go. That way, I'm way less tempted to eat off plan foods when I get there. But as you're thinking through what you eat every day and making it easier to stay on plan, and not only do we want to think about those things, but we also want to think about, am I enjoying what I eat? Am I eating good stuff? When I make food for other people, I like to make yummy things. Well, for me too, but I'm not as high priorities when I have company over. But like, I don't know, think of things that are super delicious, like I used flank steak and made carne asada, and it was amazing and delicious, and everybody loved it. And it was completely on plan, but it was like a treat meal, like a delicious treat meal. And that's not too expensive either, because you can use flank steak with it. So good. I like to make dessert recipes from alldayidreamaboutfood.com. I've dessert recipes at thewellplannedkitchen.com too. But I really like to make big desserts that I can use throughout the week. Alldayidreamaboutfood.com is probably one of my favorites. And if I'm looking forward to what I'm eating, I'm also less likely to go off plan. If you're out of the house and you have a Trimtastic chocolate cake, or you have magic salted caramel cupcakes from Trim Healthy Table at home, those are so good, or you have the THM Twixter bars, or you have the Cranberry Bliss bars from alldayidreamaboutfood.com, which is one of my all-time favorite recipes, or the Keto Magic Cookie bars, one of those S recipes. Let's say you have that at home and you ate before you left, you're running errands, you go to the store and you see a candy bar. Imagine the difference in how it feels to know that you have things at home versus if you don't. If you don't have those healthy things at home, if you don't have Lily's chocolate at home, you should have always something that's shelf stable, that's a dessert in your pantry, like Lily's chocolate, that you can grab if you need it, if you don't have time to prepare a dessert. If you do have time, making the brownie batter in a mug from thewellplannedkitchen.com, or making cottage berry whip, those each just take a couple minutes. You can always whip up a quick dessert too. But just imagine the difference in being at the store and seeing foods that tempt you, and knowing, okay, well, if I can just wait 20 minutes, I have this thing at home that's actually going to be slimming. It's actually going to help me lose weight, versus, oh, I just really want something sweet right now. I don't have time to make anything. I'm just going to grab it. Think about the difference in the thought process. And that's where a little bit of prep, just a little, and that's a big, for me on THM, I don't have hours to spend in the kitchen. That's why I made boot camp for busy Trim Healthy mamas. I have no time to spend 3 hours in the kitchen. That's why I do simple things like, when I'm making dinner, I always make something else that's unrelated to that dinner for meal prep, because I'm already in the kitchen. I'm already getting dishes dirty. I'm already there. I might as well. But if you don't have any time at all, go ahead and try to think of simple, quick ways to save time. That's something else that I share in boot camp a lot. But if you are feeling like this plan isn't doable, these are the small things that add up to make it successful long term. And if you're not able to join boot camp right now, for the back to school session, we'll cover prep and being just ready and having these systems in place to make your fall a lot easier and more enjoyable on plan. But if you aren't ready for that, we also have a class on Monday. If you are interested, you can go to the wellplannedkitchen.com/back-on-plan if you just need a little bit of a reset and to get back on track a little bit more, especially if you're someone who feels like you can't stay on plan. Again, boot camp is the best because it's 6 weeks of coaching. I'm working with you to help you stay on plan. I'm checking your food journals to see any trouble spots. I have hundreds of pages of resources I provide and tools that I've created to help my boot campers stay on plan for the long haul. That's the very best, but I'd love to have you join me in the class Monday as well. And as you are going through, if you do feel like you can't stay on plan, just think through some of the stuff we talked to in this video, see if it's applicable to you, see if there are those small changes that you can make to make the journey easier. And hopefully some of what we talked about today will ring some bells and maybe help you think through that a little bit more. But I hope you're all having a great day, and I will talk to you soon.